Kelly wasn't taking a breath. Take a breath. Thankful to God for your good company. And let's pray over this meal. Thank you for calling us together, friends old and new, each of us growing as we take on the labors of love in this place. Thank you for giving us all that we need for this moment, and we ask for your guidance as we do your work. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, folks, so I will start with asking for you guys to review the minutes from last meeting, and when you are ready, I will look for a motion to approve. Wow, that's a little feedback.
The Holy Spirit.
Mic check 1 2.
All right, Zoom. I know it's loud in here. I'm trying to turn it down while getting Zoom higher up. Zoom mic check. Sanctuary mic check. Zoom mic check. Mic check 1 2. Hello. Can you hear me online? I know it might be faint, but can you hear? Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Can you hear now online? Okay. It's going to be a little loud in here, but it sounds good online. So, sorry about that.
Okay. Okay. I'll just hold the microphone down here today.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, the minutes from last meeting pass as presented. Okay, so I will start with my state of the church. I guess outside the report, I guess I wanted to start with, people may or may not know that we've been going through a transition with our financial systems recently. And for those of us who work in, corporate America, when you transition a system like this, it's painful no matter what system it is. So we're feeling those pains as we transition between the two systems. So you may have seen the note yesterday that we'll present financial numbers today, but we won't have the full budget ready until next week. So kind of breaking protocol, we're going to split that budget out as a separate discussion for next Sunday. But I would like to thank the team of folks, and I'm not going to name anyone because there's so many people who have put time into the transition here and the budget and assisting with a lot of the just review. So thank you to all who have helped with that. And with this new system, with the electronic downloads from our bank, this should be a little bit smoother next year. A lot of manual labor this year. Okay, back to the normal scheduled program here. So I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year and a healthy new year. And if you look at paragraph 1, so I'm coming up to, this is 7.5 years doing this role. So I have 6 months left and in more of a reflective mindset lately of all the things that we've accomplished here. To start with a church that a lot of people didn't realize was open, to start working with the community again, to fixing this roof, which was a monumental thing during a global pandemic, which has attracted new neighborhood engagement. We have new members with energy and ideas, which I love to see. I can't wait to see where we go next. And I think I used this term before, like a year of transition, but then I realized that most every year here seems to be a year of transition. So maybe that's just a common theme. And like I said, you know, like change is one of the only constants in life, and it's really the way we embrace that change that makes it successful. So with that, we had Jeff step up as both the council secretary and as the office administrator, which is two amazingly important roles. And like so far, he's jumped into the admin role, and man, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. That's good. We'll still be looking for a treasurer, and that's something we've talked about breaking up into a few roles. So. To make it a little more bite-sized. So if anyone's interested, you can see me or Jackie. And then we will be looking for someone to replace my role coming up. So anybody who has questions or any interest there, I'd be happy to sit down and talk with you. So again, building use grows. We have more interest from neighbors. We continue our relationship with the Scouts, both Scouts BSA and Girl Scouts. Gym rentals are consistent, and you know we continue to have the soccer group meet, and you know we're working to serve our members and Jefferson Park, and it's clear that people realize that we're here, and they're willing to utilize us as a resource. And with all that good work, you know, membership will come. It's a slow process, but once we get our name out there and people realize what we're here for, that will come. And we've been plugging away for a long time at that, and I think I see a lot of payback coming here soon. Okay, so with that, I will pass this on to Pastor Jackie.
Our staff reports are on Ivory. I'll start with my reflection on the last 6 months and a bit about our journey. Excuse me. First, building on Ed, I'll say one of my mantras is trust in the slow work of God. Beautiful poem I share occasionally here by a scientist who affirms that we ought to, or that we're invited by God to trust in the slow work and like survive and endure the processes of change, which often tempt us to impatience and judgment. So, and I just feel led today, I just scribbled this down, I hadn't thought of it before, but I feel led to quote Dwayne Ulrich today. Lifelong member, moved several years ago to South Carolina to be with his family. Someone who gave a lot of strength and encouragement to me in my first years on staff and as pastor. And I remember vividly like 8 or 9 of us being crammed into the pastor's office to be on a webinar about change, supported by a consultant who worked with us in 2015 or 16. And Dwayne just kind of burst out this wise nugget. Relationships take time. Relationships take time. And so I just feel really anchored by that. That's like the way it works. It's the way God works. I say here often relationships among us and with our neighborhood and all the things that a number of you, Larry and Nora in particular, are doing to hold space, Sarah and I, for our dinners each week, that each month to hold space for relationships. And in Dwayne's words, relationships take time. We've been playing the long game here as we try to anchor into what the scripture passage on my reports describes as Christ's peace. And as I describe in my italicized portion there, just mindful of heart. Heart, heart, heart. When I talk to my colleagues or friends or family outside of this place, I hardly ever speak about what you're doing without saying something like, there's really a renewal of heart energy. I see it at Monday Church, over at Rabbits. I see it during the week here. I see it as our staff and volunteers interact with the kids on Tuesday and during summer camp. So much heart. So anyway, those are some of the spiritual themes on my mind as I share here what's probably a partial recap of some of the things I did the last June. I always text my draft to Carla so she can make sure I don't leave anything out. This is not like some catalog of things to be overwhelmed by. It's that I think it's a very important thing to be of service to the church community so that you have a sense of the generalist nature of being a pastor in any small church. And these are some of the things that we've done together over the last 6 months. Let me know if you have any questions about that. And just lastly, I want to close by saying, I want to acknowledge the joy of our team, the joy of working with Pastor Sarah. Thank you for remaining with us on your journey and being a part of the bridge building, very important bridge building that's happening in our community. Thank you, Jeff, for saying yes to God and stepping up, naming the right timing of a win-win situation, which I hope will be somewhere between a couple of weeks and 50 years. It was a great blessing to work with Sue during the time that we worked together. It was the right season, right person, right energy, and heart. Sue's heart is with us. But all of us are on a journey of discerning seasons. And am I still doing the thing I should do? Am I still doing the thing I can do, even though I really want to, but maybe I can't, I just can't. And so we parted with great warm blessing. And Jeff, thank you for a strong start and for all the ways in our collaborative conversations we've been planning for more systems, more order, more policy, to integrate all of the great stuff of recent years into a model of being church together, maybe even a handbook that will serve all of our members, volunteers, and in the present and in the future. Do you want to say anything? No, just a personal word about the job.
A personal word about the job, as some of you may know, is that I'm taking on a role that my grandmother did up until her passing. So she did that for 30, 40 plus years. So that's why Jackie has that ongoing joke that I'm going to be in this as a lifer. I am very appreciative to not only Pastor, but Carla and Sarah for their help in this transition. There is a lot of information that's in that little office, and there's even been some other helpers that have been helping out as well that I really appreciate all the time that everybody's been putting in to help get that transition better. And it's only going to get easier, as Ed has said. This new software is very easy to use. Once we go over a more detailed learning curves of some things, it'll be very easy to just plug in every week. The treasurer position won't be as daunting for those that are better with numbers than myself. I'm great at data entry and can help with those things, but the finance team is definitely going to help out a lot with that transition too. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of the effort that Larry puts in as building a program host, and also the degree to which he's helped fill the gap for many, many months on helping to get us clean enough for service, right? And being mindful to drop in in unscheduled, spontaneous ways to make things better. Really appreciate you. And of course, all of our volunteers serving all of our programs. I want to just say a final word on this, which is, for a few years I've been saying, I love all of this stuff I'm doing, but look how meaty the administration part is. And I'd like to be on a journey with you all where some of those administration things eventually land elsewhere. Well, they're not all going to land on Jeffrey Laurenti's plate. But I really feel like last year was a step or step and a half toward, and this year will be more, in the direction of orderly reshuffling of duties, of things that I was willing to sort of take on and be, the glue, the nag, the communication energy, whatever. And those things are just beautifully flowering out to be landing on other people's plates. And I really have a heart for wanting to be here a long time in a healthy, grounded way, wanting to take care of myself and to work more like my contract of 30 to 35, more than like that than 60 to 70. Never given 5 minutes to this place that I didn't want to and that I thought God wanted me to. Never once. But this year is the year of some recalibrating and shuffling into other people's hands the things that you deem important. And so one of the things that will kind of help force me into structure some silos in my time and structure, which I resist historically, but I can grow, is that I have taken on a temporary basis, an interim position, which probably be 3 or 6 months, I think, if I were guessing, for 12 to 15 hours a week with this organization that I care so much about. It's called the Ministers' Council. It's the Ministers' Professional Association for my denomination. And I've been on their board for 8 years. The sole office person who works 12 to 15 hours a week gave their notice at the beginning of December. And I was already feeling the heartache about leaving the board because, I was the one with seniority and institutional memory and I jumped on the opportunity to serve them for a few months and to help be a part of settling that new board and getting paid for something that I love and forcing me to take some time down in the shuffle at Eden. So share that joy with me, would you? And let's have a great year. Pastor Sarah? Capital P. I know.
Yeah, I know. Okay. This isn't being recorded, is it? All right. So you can look at the full report on the next page. So just a couple of highlights on it. I definitely wanted to highlight this year, or in the last 6 months, the things we do with our wider community, because there are many. So in the top, our shared services, like Thanksgiving and the carol sing, and one, I think, in July, with our 2 neighborhood churches, which are many things that will continue, at least, especially over Lent. We have many shared activities planned. And then 2 of the bigger projects that we've been focused on this year, Bridging Jeff Park, which we continue to host here monthly for meetings and conversations. We're currently working on kind of building out more social and educational programming with Bridging Jeff Park, so having more bilingual movie nights and social time with our neighbors, so getting to know everyone and also learning to care about our neighbors in different ways. And then also Sustainable Solutions, which is a program we've been in for 3 years now, came to an official close, at least between us and the national body of it, in December. So that was a program finding more sustainable ways to use our building. So that has looked like working on the administration for space sharers, working on finding new space sharers, recruitment, and so you can see on this page and the next page, the wrap up of that project. And I just wanted to highlight kind of in the end paragraph on that, all of the different things we have hosted in our building. We've hosted many different community groups, organizations, basketball groups, different games within our building. And I think the local community definitely very much appreciates being able to be in our space and having us be a part of the wider community. Anything from the S4 team on our wrap-up of that? There's Mike. There are people on Zoom. It's for the Zoom people.
I'm sorry. Yeah, even though I wasn't always present at every meeting, I think S4 gave us some really good direction and opened up or made us think about all the possibilities for use of this building going forward, and I felt that it was a really great experience to be a part of. So, and thanks to all who were involved in it and supporting it.
Thank you. And we will, with that group, we were in a cohort of about 5 or 6 churches in Chicago, all working on similar projects with their buildings. And even though our official project has ended, we're staying in contact with those other churches, meeting with them like quarterly to share our different experiences on what everyone's doing with their different buildings, and hopefully sharing like resources and knowledge to continue that work even though it's officially done. I think that is the end of my report. Okay. You want I know.
So I'll say something. You know, I think that I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. Been a part of corporate America. Like I look at this place as what's the business opportunity? How can we generate revenue? And through generating revenue, how can we recruit people that might potentially be interested in coming here and coming to the services? I see it every time we do an event. Someone comes up to me and starts talking about it and be like, you know what? I've been curious. I've been Eden curious. I've been church curious. So there's a real opportunity for us to kind of look at this church through the lens of how it can make revenue and engage the community in a way that it hasn't done in the past. And so that's kind of why I'm here and working with the S4 community, kind of figure out how to do that.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions as we wrap up this part? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Okay, so before we hit the diaconate report, so since the last meeting, we have lost our head deacon, Gene. So before the diaconate report, I'd just like to have a moment of silence, just in memory of Gene. Thank you. Okay, I think you're starting, Deb.
Okay, good morning. Penny and I are the deacons. Zachary is also a deacon. Of course, he is living in Dubuque. So he still comes to our meetings, but Penny and I do a lot of the deacon. What does a deacon do? We do a lot of stuff. We had a Zoom meeting last week and reviewed the deacon's duties and what the Constitution says about deacons. It's a 2-year term. There's 4 of us, or 3 of us right now. Penny's going to go over a couple of the things that we do.
Well, we've been trying to keep things going the way Gene taught us. He was such a great mentor to us, and he left things really organized for us. He really taught us the way things should be. Of course, we miss him, and those were really big shoes to fill, so we hope that we're doing him proud. One of the things that we need to do is change out the altar cloths and the banners and fill the candles with oil and the altar flowers. But Debbie and I really haven't been doing those things on our own. We want to thank people who've helped us with that. whenever we're changing out things in the church, we notice that a lot of people come to our aid and always help us with that. So we have a lot of assistant deacons already helping us with that. So it really is a teamwork, and we thank you for that.
Okay, so we're kind of looking for some assistance. So since some of the things we also do is we also do communion as well. So one of the things that covers communion is when Penny and I are out of town, possibly during the summer. Communion is once a month. We're looking to possibly have a backup. So if once that Penny and I are unable to do it that month, so we're looking to see if we could have some one or two people as backup. That if we can't make it a month, that we can have somebody to help us with do communion that month. So we're looking to if you have an idea that would like to help and as a communion assistant, let us know at the end of the meeting here. But other than that.
Yeah, because we were discussing this at a meeting that it really doesn't have to be deacons that do communion. So we'd like to get more people involved in that in the future. So if you're interested, that would be wonderful. We'd love to have you on board. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, that would be a great experience for people going through confirmation to be involved in that. Our scripture reader schedule is set through June, thanks to Jean. But we're looking for people to volunteer for our next cycle. So we'd be grateful if you could sign up to read in person or on Zoom. And we do have a sign up here for you. We don't have the dates set for that yet, but if you could just sign up if you're interested, and we would let you know more specifically what the dates are for that. You want me to talk about the care committee?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Jean Schnarr, again, was also in charge of the care committee, and that's the committee that sends out greeting cards for birthdays and anniversaries and such. That wasn't exactly a diaconate task, but since Jean was in charge of that, we've kind of absorbed that into a diaconate task. So, well, what we're in the process of doing right now is kind of revamping that whole committee. Some people who have been on it for a while decided that they don't want to do it anymore, and we've had some membership changes and whatnot, and we kind of want to change the way it's been done. So starting in June, we'll be changing that, but in the interim, if you're interested in being on that committee, what it involves is sending out greeting cards for birthdays, anniversaries, whatever. What we'd like to do is maybe supply you with the cards and the postage, since the costs of that have gone up over the years. So if you're interested in joining that committee, let us know, and we'll discuss that. But again, we'd appreciate your volunteering.
Yeah, and that is what we're thinking about is, maybe somebody would be in charge of the January and February birthdays. And then another person would be doing March and April and so on. So you're not doing it all year, but you're just doing it. Right. Well, it would be just like, somebody would just do the January and February birthdays, and then March and then another person would be doing.
Yeah, you can do. We're open to
that.
revamping the whole thing.
Yeah. We're just trying to make it as easier as possible
Streamline
and
it.
streamline it.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. We are. Our next meeting is February 16th, and that we're going to talk about, discuss member care and retention and ideas to share with, to help our members and members. Okay?
Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to Christian, Ed, Larry, or Nora.
Especially Finn, since he's our artiste. I could tell he was left-handed like me. Okay. So, Christian Education Report. Since our last meeting, the Christian Education Committee has accomplished a number of projects and events. Beginning in June, after a successful summer fun camp session, the rec room floor was removed, abated, and replaced with a durable vinyl tile for many years of service. A huge thank you to Nora and Mike Edens, as well as all the other folks who helped in coordinating and moving items out, preparing the space, and replacing all the items back after the new floor had been installed. Throughout the summer and fall, Nora Edens, with Mike's help as well as others, have continued reorganizing various bookcases, shelves, and the CE closet off the upstairs hall. To be honest with you, off the record, Nora has reorganized a lot more than just that, including our church pantry. But anyway, that's not really quite CE, so it's not in here. Anyway, it's much easier now to find the many things used by our families and children's now. Late in the summer, we had a well-attended campfire night and rally day weekend that included community-related as well as faith-related events. From s'mores to Larry's Scary Stories, and from kids' activities to crafts projects, Rally Day weekend was a most enjoyable time. 2 more Friday events, another campfire night and a movie night, were attended by both Eden families and other families from the neighborhood. In the fall, an adult education book study was led by Pastor Jackie, based on the book of Revelation. I think that's upside down Revelation, Apocalypse. That's what, yeah. After Larry Pavia started an Our Space drop-in event a couple of years ago in December before Christmas, this year's event was a great success. Parents were able to run last-minute holiday errands while their kids played in the gym and rec room. In all, some 27 children attended, and over $180 was netted for the CE after expenses. Nora had teens Tiernan and Emmett and Josie Lee help with staffing, helping the day go smoothly. Speaking of Our Space, the popular after-school program has been averaging now between 25 to 30 children on any given Tuesday afternoon. Staff and volunteers ranging from Pastor Jackie, Sarah Foster, to Larry Pavia, Nora Edens, Gwen Carlson from Redeemer of Calvary, Megan Dunny, Eleanor Maas, Sarah Delazin, and others. They have all helped make Our Space a safe, fun environment for kids in our church and community. Closing out 2024, I'm a decade off here, I see. Closing out 2024 was our Christmas holiday Santa bash with 13 children attending craft projects and other activities. Receiving gifts from Santa. Who was Santa again this year? Santa was Santa. You're right. You're right. Why am I asking that? Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Shouldn't even be asking the question. Santa is Santa. And a festive, as well as a festive buffet lunch to cap it off. As we head into 2025, we will be hosting a family games night this January 24th on Friday, as well as another movie night in probably late February, early March. And then in April or May, depending on how our weather goes, we will head back outside for campfire and game night events. Meanwhile, Larry and Nora are planning for Summer Fun Camp 25. Proposed dates are the 2 weeks following the end of the Chicago Public Schools school year, or June 16th to 20th and June 23rd to 27th, along with a couple of summer fun days for July and August. There will be activities proposed for Palm Sunday and Easter, as well as a year-end CE-related event. With the addition of several new children during church, a faith-based Sunday school and kids in church activities are ongoing and being looked into for expansion and new ideas. Pastor Jackie, meanwhile, will be engaging with the assistance of Sarah Foster, additional adult-oriented programs such as In Good Company dialogue practice sessions. Those are very interesting, by the way, have been very beneficial. And more book studies like The Apocalypse. If interested, please see Jackie. In all, 2025 is promising to be a fun and eventful year for our CE team. Thank you all, Nora and Larry. Do you have anything to add, Nora? Oh, did I talk enough? Okay. I also need to thank Mike Dwyer for his involvement in a lot of our programming, which I don't know why I don't have his name in here. Shame on me, but thank you to Mike. He's our pizza guy, and he's always got great movie ideas and so forth. So there you go.
I don't know if it's on or not anymore. Not that I care that you never mention my name, but just kidding. I'm just totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. Can't you take a joke? No, I just want to say I really have enjoyed every minute that I've spent with the kids here. That's all I really want to say. I can't do as much as some people because of my job. I can't come on Tuesday our space because it's my job, but I try to come for all the different things like our December day when the kids all had fun and played. It was just so much fun, and I really try to be here for at least part or maybe 1 week total of the fun camp. And I just find it so much fun to get to know the kids. And I just want to say thank you to Larry and Nora for leaving. I'm just kidding. Just a joke. No, really, for all that you do for the kids and how much progress has been made, like thinking about the room upstairs and, getting it all revamped. And it's wonderful. And I see them really, really enjoying themselves up there. And I'm never worried. They just jump around and bang on the walls and stuff. They don't get hurt. They're just having fun. So, yeah, I think it's great. So, thank you. Drop the mic.
I don't have my razor. I feel out of place. Okay, Daryl put out this wonderful report. First of all, I'd like to have everybody thank Daryl, because he does a lot that you don't realize. Coordinating with the contractors that come in that do the work for us, it takes a lot of time, and and then he kind of babysits while they're here too. So, you know, it's time that people don't realize that he's putting in here. So I let you guys read the report, but overall, you know, I just want you, you know, we redid the floor upstairs in the rec room, you know, with the asbestos floor, and had a new floor put down. We've had work done around, and fortunately, one of our contractors, Fortune Restoration, has made donations towards the church, you know, for family members and because I think they like us in general. So, and just a list of things, you know, that the floors look in good shape because we have them professionally cleaned and waxed, and that's why we try to keep up on everybody saying, hey, you know, change your shoes, you know, wipe up a spot and this and that, because it's expensive. And it's something that we only do once a year, but it's something that needs to be done so the church looks the way it does. I mean, and we try to keep it in as good shape as possible. Various repairs being done, but one of the things that Daryl and I have been talking about is I know there's plenty of things that need to be fixed around church, but we have people that are using the facility now, and if they could say, hey, there's an outlet not working, or the light bulb is burned out somewhere, I don't walk through the property and say every day or every week looking for something wrong, but if somebody tells me something's not working, I'll make an effort to get here to, you know, to take care of it. Or Daryl will get somebody secured, you know, professionally to come where it's something that we can't do ourselves. So that's something important. A lot of people help out on things that, you know, fixing this and there. I want to especially thank Dave Chernick and Mike Edens for climbing up in the bell tower and keeping the animals out of the bell tower. I don't know, birds, squirrels, whatever. But we've had it happen twice where we think it's a squirrel chewed through the wire that runs the speakers for the carillon. So, you know, they went out again, and the boys went up, climbed up there and found the wire was chewed, and now we've put preventative measures up there to hopefully keep them out, you know, more on a permanent basis, but we'll see how that goes. They're crafty little individual vermin. Okay, also special thanks to Sherry and Noel Brooks, because they donated the landscape services here over the summer. They had the grass cut, which is in the past we were doing on a volunteer basis, which was kind of not working as well. Also, look at the numbers of the cost of these things that we've been able to pay for over this time through donations and everybody working hard together. And as a group, we can continue to do that. We just need to maintain the building as best as possible, and if everybody communicates each other and everybody helps out, we'll keep this place going for everybody to use. And after that, who's next?
Not quite. Yeah. All right, very good. Thank you for Dave's technical assistance in sharing a doc on Zoom after a bit. So the next sheet is in the green section, green meaning, of course, money. And I want to circle big on your mind and on your paper the word Team Eden. This first green sheet tells the story of how we got through 2024 without a treasurer and in a long, protracted gap between expectations and reality on the bookkeeping software transition. And you'll just see there how we entered that transition, how we didn't pound the pavement and shake each and every one of you to be really clear you weren't the next treasurer. We took a breath, we took a pause, and we divvied up the work. And we trusted that the year would be a year of some lessons learned about systems that might make the next will make the next treasurer's life much easier. And so we slowed down, we simplified some of our reporting by being forced to do it old school on a piece of paper and a Word document, et cetera. And you get a sense from that sheet about all the divisions of labor between the signers, the counters, the staff, and we paid all the bills, and we deposited all of the money. Now, because that software transition was delayed months beyond what we hoped and and some of that got tangled up in the office workflow not being ideal in the last few months, is that we had a heck of a time the last few weeks trying to raise ourselves from holiday mindset to do all of the really grungy work, to do manual stuff, spreadsheets, math, etc., to prepare for the bookkeeper's transition. We thought we'd have the new books rolling for this report, which in our January meeting is typically the last Sunday, so I kind of gulped when I knew we needed to choose it for this Sunday. I knew it would be stressful, but you have some really exhausted volunteers who finally said, we can't really do this for tomorrow, for today. The full detailed accounting that's worthy of the budget vote. Reviewed with President Ed, the spreadsheets that Carla and Jeff and Jackie and Sarah and the finance team have either created or had their eyes in. And so just to kind of restate what Ed said at the beginning, the rest of this conversation is kind of more about financial picture, big picture, and the finance team. And we're actually going to vote on a budget document next week in the sanctuary after church in a short meeting. So we got through, and an idea whose time has come, which we've been speaking of and imagining for quite a few months, is the idea of a finance task force stepping into this space of asking, as we go into this year, what are the trends we're seeing in money in and money out? How can we make things better in money in wiser, money out wiser? How can we tell the story? How can we understand our weak spots, our strong spots, and tell the story of what God's doing in this changing environment from a stewardship lens? So if you're in the room today and you said yes to being on the finance task force, would you stand up? So these people and Ryan and Dina, right? And so we had 2 meetings by Zoom in the last 8 or 9 days. And really what's on our heart, I asked each of them to say, and voluntold is not an answer. I asked each of them to say, why did you say yes to helping with this? You know, it's a short-term thing. I had a picture of kind of going deep with the things that would be helpful for us to research, understand, talk about. Why did you say yes? And a few of the kinds of things they said were things like, I want to understand the whole better. I want to tell the story better. I want to help us improve our financial business flow better. If you're in the room and you're on that team, is there anything you want to say for yourself about what you're excited about the next few months?
I'm excited about, transforming, this room and other parts of the church to make them more friendly to people that might spend money on using this place as an event space, and just continuing to help grow the bottom line.
Understanding the whole, being able to tell our story. Mike Dwyer is very excited about the pending visual graphics, which we were not able to put in today's business meeting packet, but which we've often included in the past, which show us what are the trends in individual giving, what are the trends in how much money is coming in because of how we're sharing our building, so that we can understand that, right? And so that'll just be a part of a wiser and wiser journey together. So the last thing I'll call your attention to is the sort of unofficial balance sheet. That's the last green page there, second to last green page. And that's built on the model that would have come from our old software somewhat that David had presented for many years. Thank you, David. It just breaks out our checking and savings account and kind of our main accounts in our Hoyne CD. And then it notes there at the bottom the other 3 accounts that other people like Penny, formerly Jean, and Larry and Nora oversee, and these committee accounts, scholarship, forget-me-not, and Christian Ed. And the great news is that we paid about $15,000 on the line of credit this past year. paid it down. So last year it ended 51 something, and we're down to 34, and we've got, I think, a few thousand more to send in the next month or two. I'm just going to let you read that on your own. Again, a formal budget will be sent by email after the council's received it and had a chance to review, and we'll have a brief vote next week. Are there any questions before I turn it to Penny? Yeah. Oh, yeah, so May 26th, that should, oh geez, I'm so sorry. So there's a very important typo at the bottom of that balance sheet page. May 2025 should be May 2026. We can, please note that for the minutes. Please note that for the minutes. That's an example of an exhausted pastor. That's May 26th. And so it currently is guaranteed through May 2026, 3.25 interest. And the line of credit exists until May of 2031 without a guarantee of interest. Yeah. Life doesn't have any guarantees. Penny, thank you for your incredible, capable administration of the Forget-Me-Not Fund. That's an important story to tell. The history of that and what the current funds are. What would you like to say about that?
Well, I'd like to thank people for their, generous gifts to the fund. I just want to point out that that fund does a lot of important things around the church. Let me open up my notes because I forgot what all the things were that we've been doing. As you can see, we're nice and toasty warm because of the work on the boiler. There's been a lot of work done outside with fertilization and weed control and lawn cleanup, and the beautiful baby grand piano in the sanctuary, which is going to be 100 years old, needs more frequent tunings than before because of the age. So we've been, keeping up with that. The last time it was tuned, I was here, and I asked why it needs to be tuned so often. Well, I guess the inside of the piano really should be rebuilt because it's going to be 100 years old, I think next year, actually. And I asked how much that would cost, and the best guesstimate was, he said, at least 5 figures. He wouldn't be more specific than that. To replace that piano would be like 6 figures. So, no, we got that piano used in 1960 something. So it's still, yeah, it was a refurbished piano at that time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, late 20s, like 1926, I believe it was from. Mm-hmm. But to replace that piano would be exorbitant. So we have to do what we can to keep it, functioning, because it's irreplaceable, really. The gentleman who tunes it, named Jordan Goodman, he's amazing, but he just said it's a fabulous instrument, and we have to do what we can to keep it going. So it's going to be, tuned very frequently. So the money comes from Forget-Me-Not for that. And that's just historically. The Forget-Me-Not Fund has been responsible for like music-related things. And so, which includes the organ also, because there's a lot of maintenance involved with that. But thanks to Marie Beckman, she gave us a very generous donation last year, and there's still some funds available for a lot of music-related expenses. But basically, the Forget-Me-Not Fund has covered like lawn, landscaping things, music-related things, and kitchen-related things. So I understand that there's going to be some work done on the refrigerator coming up also. I'm not sure what that's going to entail, but so the fund it gets depleted quickly. I did try to open a CD this last week with some of the funds to make some money. And I looked around to get the best rate, and when I went to the bank, I was told I was unable to open the CD because I wasn't on a government form that I needed to be on for the church. So, I'm in the process of, Daryl was, but he was laid up in bed and couldn't come along with me. But I'd like to use some of the funds to, generate a little income too. But the money is important to that fund. So and we appreciate the gifts. But the Forget-Me-Not Fund isn't just when someone passes. It's a nice fund to donate to, to remember someone's birthday or remember someone who has passed, in memory of them, not just when they pass, but, the memory of their passing or, their life, or even someone's birthday or a celebration of something in someone's life, so. Mhm. Well, that was a church, yeah, a church birthday. Yeah, that didn't go to the Forget Me Not Fund. That was another church fund, yeah. That would be interesting, yeah. Mhm. And that was very cool, but then those are more discretionary. That could be used for anything, yeah, so. But, I appreciate all the gifts to the fund. It's, they're very important to the functioning of the church.
Larry says it's becoming a sizable donation for some of us.
Who's up? Oh.
And I guess, yeah, so we have Jean's final report for the scholarship fund. And I don't believe we had any applicants recently for that scholarship fund as of Jean's last report here. But we'll need to kind of figure out who takes this over. So he would always keep a small amount in savings, and then he had a CD that he would renew on a yearly basis and then take out whatever he needed based on the number of applicants. But to his last point, that it's getting kind of low, and so the future of that scholarship fund, we'll have to figure out what we do with that. I think now, Jeff, are you going to go over some of the dates and budget? Oh.
Carla, if I could wrap this on the other side of you, that would be even better. Didn't want to hit you with it. So the council had already previously approved a budget and housing allowance increase for Pastor Jackie. There is a formal report that we're going to include with the business documents next week. We'll have that ready for you next week. It's just a formality of the presentation of the budget and housing allowance. Another thing that we're working on is a calendar for the year. It'll be more detailed than we may have had in the past, just adding more events, letting everybody know that the third Tuesday of every month is going to be Bridging Jeff Park. The fourth Tuesday of every month is going to be In Good Company. Those are the grant works that Jackie and the team has put together that help pay for a lot of things. As the finance team has become more aware, a lot of our funding came from, previously just came from donations, things like Forget Me Not, and now we have so many grants that are helping pay for staffing, helping build up our space, helping build up the camp work and things that Larry and Nora have been doing. Some things at a glance, just looking quickly here, besides for those meetings, the family games night that Larry had talked about. The most important thing for this month, besides for that, would probably be our deadline for the Echo is January 26th. So if you have any submissions for the Echo for next month, if you could get those to the office. We're also trying to update our email so we don't have as many email accounts. So if you noticed on the bulletin today, it used to say to email EdenUCC@SBC Global. It's EdenUCCChicago@gmail is our main email account. Yes, Nora? Correct. So that funnels automatically to that Gmail. There's just a lot of transition, and that's part of some of the things that we've been dealing with as a team. But it's just a minor thing that I brought up at the Space Sharers meeting too, that if anybody has a question or you have a Space Sharer issue, besides for letting Sarah know, to just email me at the office and I'll be able to get back to you as soon as I can. Hours for the office as of right now are going to be Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. So you could always call the church and get a hold of me from 11 to 1, Monday through Friday. Or if you call and leave a voicemail, I'll try to get back to you on the next business day, or email, again, the next business day. January 31st, we're going to have Friday Friends at Eden at 7 p.m., as was announced in church. February 9th, we're going to have a council meeting after church. February 16th, the deacons will be meeting again after church. And then, did I have this right? February 25th, In Good Company dinner. Did I already mention that? Yes. Oh, and the last thing on my list here is for March 9th is going to be our Scout Sunday. So definitely come out for that. There's going to be a nice kids events that the team is working on. And as Pastor Jackie and Sarah had mentioned, there's going to be a combination of services with Redeemer at Calvary, CCJP, Eden, and we're going to be rotating locations for Lent. So I had down here, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so that was good that I brought it up. That's why the dates didn't line up when I was looking at them. It's like, got it. And it'll be rotating at the different places. So those dates are going to be March 12th at Redeemer of Calvary, March 19th at CCJP, March 26th at Eden, and April 2nd at CCJP, and April 9th at Eden. These events I'm going to have in a nice calendar doc, and it'll be up on our website as well. Some of the processes I'm still trying to learn how to cookie cutter and paste and get them in the right spot. But hopefully by the end of this month, starting next month, we're going to have a nice clean slate, and we'll be able to get this a little bit more information available for everyone. And if you have anything that you want to add, we are going to have like summer camp on there. We're going to have more of the movie events on there. And some of these, what's that? Yes, I believe those dates were approved. We didn't have any issues through council. So, yep. And once we have that concrete, we'll make sure that that gets out to everyone. Okay? All right.
Go around Carla again. Bring around Carla. Okay, so we had the attendance sheet filtering around, so if you haven't signed that, please sign that. And then yeah, okay, and then we also have the scripture reader, so if you would like to volunteer for scripture reading, please sign that. And I'm going to pass it on to Amanda shortly, because we have another fundraising idea that she came up with. So many of you have seen the table in the parlor that has been there for I don't know how long, because I know our marriage license was signed at that table 25 years ago. So it's a pretty old table. And so that table has gone past its useful life. Well, but so Larry has been kind enough to donate a table that's a little bit larger. So instead of just disposing of that table, we had an idea of repurposing it. So if you can imagine how many church business meetings were held around that, how many of our relatives and ancestors have sat around it, how much church gossip has been talked about around that table. So Amanda had a great idea about how to repurpose some of that table.
So I have been, well, our family, we do a lot of woodworking, and I was gonna take the chairs and the table, and I was going to make pens out of them and turn pens. And Dad here came up with a slogan for it. Take a piece of Eden wherever you go. So, because it's so important, you know, counting's been done there, like everything's been done at that table. So we can still have a piece of that table, but as a pen. Yeah.
More to come, more to come. on
Yes,
that.
more to come on that. We're still waiting for some stuff to come in for that. But-
Okay, so does anyone have any new business and/or announcements they'd like to make?
Also, just a friendly reminder that we're going to be selling the big game squares. Please try not to mention the actually copyrighted name of that football game that occurs at the end of the season. But we are going to be selling the big game squares coming up shortly, so please watch out for that.
No, no.
But there's information if you wanted it for Sarah's church.
Yeah. Yeah, so congregational will take over the big game squares, the big game squares, and the 2-minute timeout. No, wait, that's college. Never mind. You can. Okay, yeah, so planning would be starting like a group card writing thing to take the load off of that ministry. That was a good idea. That's a real good idea. Okay, if no new announcements or business, I will look for, one more thing?
So one of the things that Jackie is tasking us with now, and the church needs really, is volunteers to help pick things up sometimes or do some runnings, and that way the staff isn't necessarily doing it. We have Queen of Hearts tickets that are available for pickup. The check is already written and approved in Franklin Park. I have the address and the details. If anyone can make a run, they are available 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and they are available to just pick them up. We have the check written. If somebody can run there and pick them up and bring them either to Monday Church or to bring them to Eden, so then that way we could have them. Okay, never mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
We needed more tickets for the Queen of Hearts raffle, so we purchased more. They're ready, they're printed, they're already done, but Kelly's taking care of it.
Yep, that's a good problem to have. What a stroke of genius that idea was, the Queen of Hearts. Okay, if no other announcements, I will make a motion to adjourn. Second? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?